Hello everyone. Hopefully this is working. My first time doing this. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. No word of a lie, that was probably the most stressful and intensive video I've ever done. And yeah, there were many delays, as many of you were well aware of, but it's out. So thank you everyone who has watched it. I know it's literally just ended 5 minutes ago. So what I want to do is just wait a few minutes, see if we get a few more people come in. But those of you who are in here now, firstly, I'd love to hear your reaction, your thoughts on the video, the outcomes, the results, and also if you got questions, because what I want to do in this video is just share some of my thoughts. And I already have a bunch of questions from people that couldn't make the live call, so I'm going to answer them. But of course, if there is, if you've got your own question, then type it in and I'll work through them. I should also check that everyone can hear me. Can someone just give me a thumbs up? Because I've never used this platform. I've never done a live video or anything like that. So if you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. And I'm sitting here in my workstation. I've got all my bits and pieces behind me. Sound is good. Great. Okay, cool. So let me first share my initial thoughts on this video. Now, I will say that next week we have my extended version coming up. I know I've promoted that a few times already in the video. The reason why, there was a lot to cover, right? Like 17 panels, there are a lot of metrics, and I think my initial cut was about 3 or 4 hours long. Okay, so obviously I couldn't put out a video like that. So what we decided is we'd do this summary video, which you've just seen, and then we'll do edited down version, which is probably going to be about an hour 20 or thereabouts, and that will have a bit more detail, a bit more commentary and insight. Okay, so we're still working on that. We'll go out next week. That has a lot more analysis throughout the video, but I will just say now, I in a way, I was sort of surprised with the results. I know the PlatinumLED BioMax panel is a great panel. I mean, it's always doing very well. They're a great company, come up with a lot of innovative features. However, I did think, the competition there's a lot of competition now, right? Like the block blue light panel, the radiotherapy refined panel, that's massive. I mean, even MitoPRO's panel, you got light path LED. Like there's a lot of good panels out there. So I didn't know what the outcome was going to be like. And I went into scoring it. What I do is I create the scoring system first, and then I literally play it out, record it, score as I go. So I have no idea how it's going to go. So I tried to get a scoring system that was reflective of the innovative features that are in the market, but also like what we know works, the tried and tested. So it was interesting because I thought going into it, maybe Platinum won't make it this year to the top. Maybe they won't even be in the top 3 because they were, lacking in 1 or 2 areas. Oh, and my camera just turned off. There we go. Hopefully I'm back. Oh gosh. Okay. For some reason my camera just turned off. But if people can still hear me, can you just let me know? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change my camera to the built-in camera. Let's see if this works. Okay, I don't know if people can hear me or not. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, but you can't see me, and we'll just keep going as is. Here we go. So anyway, I was a bit surprised, but the PlatinumLED does have a great panel, right? And there's no doubting that. The cool thing is with this series, though, like early on, someone said, "Oh, I really value EMF." I mean, you just go look at the data, and if there's a panel in there that was really high in EMF, just cut that out. It's not going to be an option for you. Likewise, if you want something that's really wide, just go to that size round, look at, say, the top 6, and just keep an eye on them throughout the series. The Mito Red Light, I think, was the narrowest panel in the top 10, top 5. So you wouldn't buy that, obviously. Anyway, enough talking. Let me answer some of these questions now. So first up, Discount links. Yeah, so they are now all in the description in that video, and I will also share a link over at Light Therapy Insiders, and you can go to deals and discounts. We didn't have all the show notes in that video when it went live, because otherwise it would have just revealed who the winners were. So typically, though, discount code Alex works. The BioMax, you have to order through a link. I am affiliated, so you guys save, I get a commission. Next question, James. How do you feel about using multiple brands to build a full body setup? I like my 2 block with light panels, but the large panel. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this is exactly what I did for years. I had a Juve, and then I got a MitoPRO light, and then BioMax, and then Red Light Rising, and I had 4 different panels. Now, this was years ago, and we didn't have the nice stands, and I literally had to turn everything on individually. But it worked great. So there's no real issues there. It's just if you're a perfectionist and you want something looking really, really nice, then you may not want to do that. But Block Blue Light and Rodeo are very similar panels anyway, from size, shape. So yeah, it's going to be fine. And they're actually similar spec as well, like similar wavelengths. The Block Blue Light is putting out a bit more power, but no big issues there. India. I'd assume a lot of these companies are shipping to India. You can always go to the company website, add a panel to your cart, go to the checkout screen, and then type in your address, and it'll give you a shipping quote. I know Platinum do that, MitoPRO Light do that, Block Blue Light do that. So you can just see. Yeah. Thanks for making the video. No, that's okay. Sorry it has taken so long to get out. Yeah, I'm glad it is finally out. Put a lot of time in. Yes, a lot of time. So questions around like health benefits of red light therapy. What I'd recommend doing. I don't want this to be a health Q&A. I want this to be more about the products and, of course, the video we just published. So if you do have questions from a health point of view, I suggest heading over to lighththerapyinsiders.com, and you can see a bunch of articles over there, or heading over to our Facebook group. I don't know how to add links or anything on this platform at the moment, so maybe I can do it like this. Here we go. I can add a comment. So head over to, just put that in the comments. Head over to there, or our Facebook group, and then you can search through those resources, because we do have a lot of questions on that. So there's a lot of questions saying thank you for all the time and work, and I really do appreciate those comments. The accuracy of the wavelengths, I did, and that is, I've filmed it. I haven't published the review. The review for that panel won't be out for a few weeks. I actually have filmed all of those panels that were in that comparison series. I've done reviews on, but they're not all published. We just have so much content up our sleeve at the moment. So they will all be rolling out in the coming weeks. So I know it's a bit frustrating. Maybe you've seen this video and you think, I really want to get the radiotherapy, but I'm waiting for the review. Yeah, and maybe a few more weeks. I'm sorry. I won't get into all the reasons, but I've filmed a lot of content. We were looking at moving around now, so I had to have a lot of content up my sleeve. But now we'll just be rolling it out. So stay tuned to the channel. But on that, regarding that question, if memory serves me correctly, there wasn't any issue with inaccuracies on the wavelengths, because it's quite a big thing if there is, and I usually call it out. Beam angle matter? No, it doesn't. Check out some of the videos I have done on my YouTube channel on beam angle. Just type Alex Fergus beam angle, and you'll see that I used to always report on it, and I no longer do. If you're buying your own panel today, would you agree with the outcome of your testing and buy the number one? Yeah, I mean, I would. Like, I said it in the video. You could get any of those panels and you're going to get a benefit, right? It's going to work. It's not like, the last 2 panels don't actually even put out red light therapy. All of them are going to work. And in fact, the panel that I started with in red light therapy years and years ago was the Juve Solo 1.0. And that, that would be rock bottom last on the table now. But I still had great benefits from it. So just keep that in mind. What I'm trying to do with this series is finding the best overall panel. I mean, there are a lot of different specs, features, options. So I want to get something that I'm trying to help you guys just find the best overall. You're buying from a company that's been around for a long time, has good power, has good warranty features, is easy to use. And that's what I've accounted for here. Lots of stand options, puts out wavelengths that are beneficial, has the remotes, comes in at a good price point, so that's what this is doing. If you're an advanced user and you know your stuff and you think, hey, I really want a panel with a lot of 810 and I really want a wide panel, and I know someone else about this, then yeah, you're probably not going to get, or you may not get the BioMax. You may not get the block blue light. You're probably going to go down and say get the light path LED because it's got a lot of 810 and it's even wider than those other panels. If you're someone who, I don't know, what's another example? Someone, obviously, if you really want, let's say you want 590 nanometer, the amber red light, because you've seen some studies on that, it's really good for nitric oxide production, and you think that's what I want, then you're going to get the MitoPRO because it's the only panel out there that has 590 in it, even though they place fifth. But if you're just starting out and you just think, I don't want to geek out on all this stuff, I just want a good panel, then yeah, any of those top 5 panels, any of the, really, as I look down the list, any of the top 10 panels are going to do the job. Would I buy the BioMax panel right now? Yeah, I mean, I've been using their panels for years. I've got a bunch of them here. I still use them partly because I'm lazy and I set up and I can't be bothered changing them, but they work great. Their new one with the 1060, it's got the blue light. I personally don't use the blue light very often, but it's there if I needed to. Connectivity is great. But then saying that, if I lived in a country, I think Platinum don't ship to Germany, for instance, right? So if I lived in Germany and I couldn't get the Platinum BioMax panel, then I'd be more than happy with the block blue light or the radiotherapy. I mean, I've actually done a video comparing those top 3 panels, the BioMax, the block blue light Mega, and the Radio Refine, where I do a deep dive sort of head-to-head video. That will be out soon. Because, yeah, even though the PlatinumLED BioMax came out number 1, there are instances where the other panels are better. Yeah, so we've got another question about health. So check out the Facebook group, or best comparison I've seen. So helpful, that's good. Thank you. Medical grade and non-medical grade. Pretty much it's a lot of paperwork, a lot more testing goes into the LEDs. You're going to spend a lot more money. Personally, I wouldn't worry about medical grade unless I was using this, say, on my brain. So a good example here, I'm working with Dr. Beck. Well, my son's working with Dr. Beck. He uses red light therapy on the brain. He specializes in brain disorders. And yeah, he's like, I don't want to get some Chinese product because what happens if the wavelengths are correct or the power output's not correct, or it fluctuates or anything like that. So in a medical setting, yeah, you probably want the medical devices. However, I'm fortunate that I have a spectrometer, so I could test it anyway. But if you're just looking at something for skin or joint health or sports recovery, yeah, I wouldn't spend 10 times as much and get a medical product. Where would you put the Infrared Flex Max on the list? So, well, I don't know. I mean, I used the Infrared Pro Max, which is their new one. The old one, I personally think is better than the new one. And you can check out the Light Therapy Insider's shopping tool to compare the specs, check out my reviews. So I don't know, if I were to take a guess, I don't know, maybe it would be around 7th or 8th, maybe. Not too sure. You'd have to go through. You could go through and do the whole scoring system again since we have the specs. But yeah, it's not a bad panel. I mean, it got 3rd a couple of years ago, so it's a good panel. Here we go, multi-chip. What are your thoughts on multi-chip? Some companies use dual chips, and some use... Yeah, okay. So I touch on this. I believe I touch on it in the comparison video. It's a reasonably new thing. A couple of years ago, there was 1 or 2 panels. Now a lot of panels have it. I do like it, yes, and that's why I scored for it. I rewarded panels that had dual chip or quad chip, as the Huga Ultra has. So what's happening is one lens, they're putting multiple chips, multiple bulbs. All right. So think of your typical light bulb up in the ceiling, and instead of one light fitting, they're fitting 2 or 3 or 4 bulbs in there. The benefits of this are you're getting a nicer blend of coverage of light on the body, especially if they're alternating or using different wavelengths in that bulb, in that lens. So you can have 630, 660, 810, and 850 all coming from one little lens, whereas a panel that has single chip LEDs, such as the BioMax, that one little lens is only going to have one wavelength, 810. So then the LED next to it, the LED lens next to it is going to have your 850, and then the one next to that is going to have your 660 and 630. So it does impact the light coverage. And if you've seen some of my videos, you'll see that there is a polka dot or a hotspot effect, and panels that have dual chip LEDs or triple chip don't necessarily have this issue. It's not a hard and fast rule. There are some single chip LEDs that have good light coverage. Does this matter? Well, I wish I knew. 2021, I believe that it did matter. It's why I negatively scored on the polka dot issue. 2024, I've heard things now that it doesn't really matter. So I didn't punish companies that had this problem, but I did reward companies that had multiple chip LEDs. Now, the reasons why it may not matter is firstly because the panels are so much more powerful now that you can actually stand further away from the panel and you're going to get naturally a better blend of light. So that's one thing. Secondly is when we're using panels for full body, like body-wide systemic benefits, right? You're not just targeting that tooth with a particular wavelength, a particular amount of energy. You're soaking the body in light. And there's some evidence, there's some research to show, and even some scientists in the field believe that it doesn't really matter if it's concentrated in one area, because it disperses when it hits the body, and the body does what it needs to do with that light. I don't understand it. I'm trying to get my head around it. In fact, there's some people I'm meeting this year that hopefully I will know more about it. If it does bother you, then yeah, get a panel with dual chip LEDs and make sure that each LED has a variety of wavelengths in it. If not, I mean, then just get whatever one ticks all the boxes, I guess. Beam angle, we've talked about this, so yeah, I don't find it important. If you're wanting to know how to use it, head over to Light Therapy Insiders. We've got a quick start guide. Does the block blue light mega still make a noise when dimming? Yes, it does. Only in a particular range, though. It's about 40 to 80%. And it's not a loud noise. It's just this like, high-pitched sort of sound. Some people may not even pick up on it. Okay, so I'd say a lot of people never use the dimming function. So if you plan on using it a lot and that sound may bother you, then yeah, then look elsewhere. However, the company is well aware of this issue now, so I believe they're fixing it for a next shipment. I don't know. You could reach out to them. I think the split on the BioMax is mostly 830 and only small amounts of 810, 850 instead of 860. Yeah, that's true. That is true. And I talk about that in the video. It is... It's a tricky one, I know. So some people still like the more traditional 660, 850 nanometer wavelengths. There's a lot of research behind them. It's what people have been having great results with for a long time. PlatinumLED see the benefits in these other wavelengths, but they don't see... They have what they call their spectral blend, I think. That's the fancy term they use. And they believe that their ratios are going to be the best for the end user. How much of that is backed by science? How much of that is marketing? How much of that claim is financial? I don't know, because obviously it costs a lot more to get these other wavelengths, especially something like 1060. That's a very expensive LED chip to get. Pretty much though, I put it on to you. If you really want a lot of 810 and 830, then yeah, get a panel that has those wavelengths in it. If you want a lot of 810, then the light path LED panel's for you. It's got every single LED lens has 810 in it. If you want a nice even spread, then yeah, forget about the BioMax and then just look down the list. I mean, next up would be the block blue light. Otherwise, you got the radiotherapy or Mito red light. The Rouge Care only puts out 660 and 850, so you'd forget about them. So you got three options there. So you just work backwards. You say, okay, well, I'm not going to consider the PlatinumLED. I'm not going to consider the Rouge. Let's rewatch this series and keep an eye on those other ones. If you go purely on points, you'd probably go with the block blue light. It's why it's hard. I mean, yes, I've just said, hey, this is the best overall panel, but there are exceptions. I literally say that at the end of the video, and I'm saying it now, and I'll say it again. Would it affect my decision buying a panel? I don't know. See, the problem is I've had really good results with the BioMax panel over the years, so I'm always like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if someone was starting out, especially, I really do like the 810 nanometer light. Yeah, I may say, hey, look, if you do a lot of sports, you may want a panel with a bit more 810 in it. What else? If you removed company from the score, I don't know what company from the score. I don't quite understand what you're asking here. But yeah, if you want to do it without a particular panel, you can actually go through and we'll have a blog up with all the tables, so you could go through and score it yourself and just see, hey, what would the outcome be if platinum wasn't in it, for instance. Of course, it's not just a matter of taking out their points, because what would happen is each round the scoring would be different. How high should the Irradiance be? Yeah, that's a really tricky question. We have some content coming out on Irradiance and dosing this year, so stay tuned for that. Some people say more is better. Some people say no, there's a ceiling. It really does depend on what you're trying to do. More Irradiance is going to penetrate a lot deeper. It is going to provide a lot more energy to the tissue. You can overload the tissue though. So if you're trying to treat deep into your hip joint, for instance, yeah, you may need more energy, but it may mean you're going to a higher radiance, but it may mean you're going to overload the skin, for instance. So just something to keep in mind. Methylene blue. Yeah, I've been putting this in the look into box for a long time, and I still haven't looked into it. But I know there's a lot of people in the Facebook group who are quite up to speed on this. So yeah, head over there, do a search, or make a post. I don't know about that, but thank you. Yeah, is 810 the best for skin? I don't know if that's. I mean, there's a lot we don't know. Okay, but yeah, again, if you want 810, then I wouldn't. If you want a lot of 810, then I wouldn't suggest the BioMax 900. Look at the other ones. If you want a lot of 810, then Light Path LED, and they came in at 7th place. And again, I've got to look at all areas. Light Path LED is not the nicest panel to operate, especially compared to the BioMax Block Blue Light. It's old school, I guess. So it lost a lot of points there. It's a bit more expensive. It doesn't have the same connectivity system. So see what I'm saying? I'm trying to find the best overall, taking into consideration all sorts of features. We'd like to have blue light in. At the moment, there are two: the BioMax 900, which was in my series, and Light Path LED do a line of panels with blue light in it, but that wasn't included in my series. Software updates. I don't believe the panels. Well, maybe they could. I haven't heard of any panels doing this, but I don't see why they couldn't. But yes, it is something I've thought of with the Royo Refine. I know they have an app, so I'm curious. Surely the app is just sending the panel instructions. So hopefully what will happen is the app will get some new smart modes, and or the science will become a little bit clearer on something, and they'll change their formulas. And yeah, when you activate that in the app, it'll change it in the panel. I'll look into that. covered this question. Alzheimer's, check out again, check out Light Therapy Insiders or the Facebook group. Check out V-Light. They do a lot of stuff on this. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a generalization, but typically the red is better for the skin. It's quite complex. I would be speaking to a doctor. It's above my pay grade. Again, check out Light Therapy Insiders and the Facebook group. Yeah, I do. 100% I do. It always happens. PlatinumLED came out with, PlatinumLED came out with wavelengths beyond the 660 and 850. I think they were the first to do that. And now, of course, everyone's doing it. PlatinumLED came out with the touchscreen. Now, of course, everyone's doing that. PlatinumLED came out with the wireless connectivity. PlatinumLED are very innovative. They've done a lot of cool things in the space. This, I guess, was the first one that they didn't do. So yeah, I mean, why not? Like, it gives people more options, right? So yeah, I do expect other companies to do it. Problem is, all of these companies have just released their latest panels. It's part of the reason why this video was so delayed, because they were like, oh, can you wait another few weeks? We've got a new one coming out. So I don't expect all these companies to like launch new ones immediately. I mean, but maybe second half of this year, later in the year, who knows? I don't know. I'm just guessing here. But there's a lot of companies out there, so I'm sure someone's already seen the Royo Refine and trying to incorporate that into their panel. Yep, 300 is a great option. Appreciate the support and you buying through my link. Pulsing, we have a video on pulsing. Yeah, it's something. It has a little bit of benefit to it. I personally don't use it, but yeah, it's I did score. I rewarded panels that had pulsing in it. Some of the big names don't have pulsing. PlatinumLED, MitoPRO Red Light, for instance. So yeah, check out that other video. When someone uses the dimming function, a couple of reasons. Firstly, if they just want it as an ambient background light and don't want a massive power bill, because I know some people do that. Secondly, if you're going to do a longer session, let's say you're doing a meditation or yoga pretty close to the panel, and you're going to do it for 30 minutes or an hour, maybe you can have a rest, a lie down. You can drop the intensity down, though I don't think you can run these panels for an hour, but you know what I'm saying? Or you want less dose. Maybe you're doing skin treatment and you don't want the intensity of the BioMax, which is very, very intense, by the way. So you could drop it down. Or maybe you want to drop down the near infrared and leave the red up. Lots of reasons. I don't know. I'm sorry. Many thanks. What's the best for SAD? So this is, yeah, completely different. You actually want a bit of blue light, full spectrum light. I do have a little panel here for that I'll be reviewing soon. I think we have an article over at the alexfergus.com website. If you Google Alex Fergus SAD, it should come up. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing, the benefits, right? How that's happening. Again, I don't want to get into the health technical stuff here, but it could simply be the nitric oxide release, blood flow, that sort of thing. There's a lot of things going on when you use red light therapy. I notice my blood pressure drops a lot. People sleep better. I mean, there's heaps of benefits. I've tried to use it in my recovery sessions. The science is there to support, to say that it should work. It's so hard to know though without doing a proper study, right? Like I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, well, take out that round. Who scored bad there? Royo Therapy lost a few points, I believe, because they're a new company. No, they were. I can't even remember the results. I don't think Platinum did that well because they don't share their lab data. So Platinum probably would have got extra points. Yeah, I mean, you can go through and crunch the numbers. I thought that was quite an important feature to have in there because there are a lot of newcomers and there's also a lot of like misleading claims, a lot. So I wanted to put that in there. What's interesting is PlatinumLED are working on coming out with a new standard for testing. No, not just PlatinumLED. Sorry, there's a couple of companies. I just know PlatinumLED is part of it because I asked them. Well, I told them. I said, "Hey, you've missed out on a few points here," and they said, "Oh, this is just recently." And they said, "Oh, we're doing something cool behind the scenes," which I was like, "Oh, that's kind of neat." So hopefully that will change. Yeah, talked about that. That's okay. Cool. All right. So I've got a couple of quick questions here. What about company? Let's see if I can get this on screen. I know I can't. What about company like BestCure or EMR Tech or these other companies? Yeah, I mean, I would love to have included all of them. 17 was crazy enough, but I mean, it would have been cool to have 20 or 25. Either I wasn't aware of the company, or I couldn't get their panel, or they didn't want to be in it. Red Light Rising, for instance, I was going to include them, and they said, "Hey, we're going to discontinue our panels real soon, so don't include us." I was like, "Okay, cool." Luminos Red, they're about to launch new ones. I don't know when, so yeah, I didn't include them. And some other ones I just simply weren't aware of. So I'm going to try to do more reviews on them in the coming months. So just hang out on the YouTube channel. And if there is a panel you want me to test, leave it in the comments. The best panel for a particular region. Yeah, so this video was catered more towards the American customer, I guess. I didn't factor in shipping or anything like that. I have filmed videos on I've filmed a comparison video for the best in, I think it's Australia and New Zealand. I'm going to do the same for the UK, Europe. Those will be rolling out in the coming months. The fat loss face question, again, don't want this to be about health, but it is coming up a lot. We're working on an article on this. To be honest, if it was that good, if red light therapy was that good at lowering fat tissue, I mean, it would be massive. Everyone would be using it. I think what's happened is there's been a few stories and they've just sort of gone viral, and now everyone's afraid of it. But we're going to look into the research and have a full article and video out on that. Hyperpigmentation, again, this is something we will cover separately. We've got some content coming out on that. The best panel under $400. So yeah, I mean, I do have my handheld battery panel series. Those options are around $300, so check that out. But I am doing a best panel under $1,000. Started 2023. I did the best tabletop panel, so check that out. Just go into the Facebook group and leave a question in there, or just spend some time on my YouTube channel. All right, we'll take one or two questions, then I'm going to wrap it up. Okay, your protocol. Check out my YouTube channel, and I'll answer this one. What's this one? So you can buy blue light devices. Huga have a blue light bulb, for instance, and I have said that in the past. Maybe you buy like a panel like the block blue light or the radiotherapy, and you don't have blue light in it, but then you have a dedicated blue light bulb, and you just use that for when you want to use it. Or with the PlatinumLED BioMax panel, there's blue light in it, not much, but you can turn that off and just turn it on when you want to use it. And even with it turned off, you still have the most powerful panel on the market. Okay. Okay, these questions are still coming in, so I'll quickly answer them. That will be out in the coming weeks. Yeah, I don't know though, but I looked into this. There's one or two little papers on it, but I don't think it's sound. I mean, you can find research to support any claim. Like when you actually look at human studies in that, well, I need to look into it again. What I'm saying though is, like, if it was so effective, I mean, thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people using this. If it was so effective at fat loss, like, it would be blowing up, right? I've used it a lot in high intensity near infrared and stuff as well on my face for years. I can't say I've noticed any change. The biggest thing that changes how fat my face is what I'm eating. So anyway, okay, last one. Yeah, I'm gonna do. There's a company in the UK that I'm trying to reach out to, iPower, and they specialize in this field. So I'm going to tap into their knowledge base because I don't know too much about the eye stuff, but we may do an article on it soon as well. Okay, cool. Hey, I'm going to wrap it up. Now, just before I do go, remember in a week's time, we will be publishing our extended version. Highly recommend checking that out because it will go into even more detail. Of course, though, leave any questions in the comment section. What I may do again is if I get enough really good questions, I may do another video like this. And again, jump in the Facebook group, head over to Light Therapy Insiders. Facebook group's probably where I'd suggest you go to now, and we can set up a discussion over there. And Bart, Lisa, all those guys will help out. And thanks again for all the support. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, maybe we'll do another one in a couple of years' time. Maybe not. No, I don't know. Right now, I'm just like, never again. But I keep doing them. So we will see. Thank you very much. And like and subscribe. I appreciate the likes. So does YouTube. How do I end this? Up here.